of joining us this Sunday morning. Morning Joe with the Imam Bros is a program that's meant to kind of get the community together with a little more sense of, comfort and ease, a little more on the casual side, kind of like a conversation. Every weekend, if not every weekend, every now and then we have, a little get together in the masjid, whether it be at the park, whether it be a little chai outside the masjid. We're a community that gathers around food and drink a lot. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So, the Morning Joe is a program that's meant to kind of bring and mimic that sense of community. Again, and honestly, we appreciate the facility and the building and the structure of the masjid, but when we talk about community, it's the human element, right? That has the most value when we talk about community, right? Facilities, yeah, facilities come and go. People move throughout their lives. So, although a masjid serves as the epicenter, but at the end of the day, it has a lot to do with the community and those around it, right? I mean, our belief and faith is that we understand and believe that when we go to the masjid, we are in the presence of malaika, the presence of angels. So it's about the presence. It's about being there. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, folks. I wanted to ask you to join me in welcoming my bro, my colleague, the resident scholar over here at IAA, a Sunday school father of 150 kids. How are you, Mufti Nauman?
Wa alaikum assalam, wa alaikum assalam. Doing all right, Sheikh. Thank you for the awesome introduction. Always, a pleasure starting off our Sunday mornings with our Imam Bro. So ain't no better way for me to start with there than my fajr and my little morning cup of Joe with my bro. So glad we could be here, man.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So, today the topic, today, inshallah, we're going to give a few minutes for our brothers to join us. The topic today, we were going to talk about Ramadan goals, what our goals are in Ramadan. We, usually we have goals in life for everything that we do. We have goals for stuff to do. We have goals for stuff not to do. So what's some of your goals?
Man, subhanAllah, that's such an awesome question, right? Because Ramadan's just that really awesome time to kind of be able to just recalibrate yourself, right? And so all the things that how typically sometimes we have that kind of long day. You woke up really early, you were at work the whole day, and you come home and you just don't really have the energy, man, to put into any negativity, right? Someone speaks to you certain, and you're just like, man, I don't even got the energy to entertain this, right? I don't even have the mental power to even bother answering something like this. So that same idea of being capped on energy is essentially what the entire month of Ramadan is like, right? Where you're already so limited in terms of your energy, you don't want to just say anything to anyone. You don't want to you want to really think twice before you say that sentence or before you do that action. And so I think one goal that we always have throughout the year, but especially in Ramadan, you kind of really get a chance to hone in on it. It's your personal self. It's your personal self. You really have no time in the year that's devoted to you just focusing on the best version of you, being the best version of yourself. And I think that's so phenomenal how our deen actually gives us a time period, a stipulated time. We have that throughout the year, but it's okay. I couldn't do it for 11 months. This 30 days, I'm gonna do it, right? I couldn't kick that habit to the curb for 11 months of the year. These 30 days, I'm gonna do it. So it's really awesome because like it's not only like an iman boost, it's like a mental boost, right? It's a morale boost. You just feel really accomplished, right? And so all in all, of course, there's the fact that the benefit of, you know, just Ramadan and you know, the atmosphere, but you really truly get a taste because like shaitan's locked up, right? I can't blame nobody this time. If I do something wrong, I gotta look in the mirror.
Yeah, but we also locked up too.
We also locked up too, right?
Have
Right.
you have you heard that? Hey, Assalamu alaikum, brother Fahad. Good morning, brother
Assalamualaikum.
Sayyid Haq. Good
Assalamualaikum.
morning.
Nauman.
You
Assalamualaikum.
heard? Have you heard the saying that this year we will be locked up before the shaitan?
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
you
I've
heard?
already heard that.
Subhanallah, mashallah. Hey, how you doing, Sayyid man? You're not gonna have your cereal with us this morning?
No, I've been up for a couple of hours already. I read Fajr and didn't really go back to sleep.
That's good. That's good, man. That early morning before crazy gets up, right? Before before crazy starts, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. It's very peaceful.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. How are you, brother Fahad?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. How's everything with your family? How's your home?
Good. Everyone's doing good. Alhamdulillah. No
Mashallah,
complaints.
mashallah. So we were talking about Ramadan goals, right? Goals in Ramadan. Now, we all have some type of understanding of where we want to be, and in some regards, in some arenas where we don't want to be. These are all expectations that we have from ourselves. And expectations is something that, hope and expectations is something natural, right? Like we all put our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know that death is inevitable, but we put our alarm on before we go to sleep, because of that hope, because we anticipate to wake up the next morning. This is a survival. This is a survival mindset, a survival instinct that Allah has embedded within a human. If we didn't have that much anticipation, if we lived our life like, okay, whatever, haphazard, hopeless, then we wouldn't get anything accomplished as a human race, right? So we have physical goals, intellectual goals. Now Ramadan is a time for the spirit. So we all have some type of expectations. Brother Fahad, can you share with us some expectations that you have from... So first of all, what expectations do you have as a family? Like something that you want to... An end product that you want to see your family a part of?
I'm not. I don't know if I'm the right fit person to say that with folks who are on the call much learned than me. But I think since you said brought family, I think after having Ibrahim, I think it's more of to show him the importance of this month. Living in this part of the world, we have a competition versus other holidays.
Ah,
So you really have to make it larger than life thing.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
so I think one thing there are those aspects of, and I was talking to Ibrahim the other day about the father son qiyam we
Mm.
had. So I'm sure you guys will be working on the virtual one as well. If
Yes,
not,
virtual tug of war.
so uh, so all those things. I mean, building those memories. For example, we started working on putting the lights around. Uh, so it's more of not just the spiritual aspect of it. It's about having those lifelong memories that we kind of associate with Ramadan, so that he looks forward to this month. I mean, growing up, it was always like, you have Eid, you have to fast. Getting up with your parents to have the sahur, even if you're going to have your breakfast later on. So things like that. So I think one thing from a family perspective is to have those nice traditions set, and then in itself help the family to basically uh, focus on ibadah. Like a few years back, and it's been like 5-6 years back, I really gave up on attending iftar parties, for example. I mean, all my friends know that I would put on my Facebook that, Jazakallah khair for the invite, but sorry, I won't be able to make it. I'll make it later on after the Ramadan, inshallah. Invite me
Mhm.
after. So, so trying to take that burden of, you know, food thing, for example, away, so that, because what I realize is that last part of the before iftar is the key time, and if you're frying stuff at that time, it's too hot and sweaty, and then, you know, it doesn't help your khushu. Uh, so small things like that. I mean,
It messes with other people's khushu sometimes too, if you know what I mean.
it's true, true, true,
Yeah, yeah,
true.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's nothing big, just these small things, some small memories, and again, just taking the ibadah one notch up.
Yeah.
That's actually such an amazing point, brother Fahad. Like how we have family traditions that are typically tied with Ramadan. Because when I was growing up, that's literally that the image of Ramadan that resonates. It was my mom waking us up. We didn't want to get up for, suhoor, right? You're still keeping your eyes closed. Your sleepiness doesn't go away. And so as soon as you get back in bed, you can go right back to sleep and you don't have to wait an extra second, right? But there's just these memories like, uto, drink the pani pio, kuch bhi pio, drink something, eat something, right? And like, yeah, that sticks with you. So like Ramadan, a huge concept of it also is just that kind of inclusive, atmosphere, that family atmosphere. Yeah, man, you're
and
one.
and when one experience I want to, since you brought up getting up in the morning, I don't know, you might have experienced, I mean, back in Indian subcontinent, in Kashmir especially, I think it's around that subcontinent, you would have this person called Sahar Khan, we used to call. So he used to go around with a drum, and
Oh,
me and my cousins would be scared of that, you know, early morning, 4 5 o'clock, that drum going around, and that was scary for me. I remember that.
we used to
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah. I
pointed, what was it called? What did you say the name of this
We used to
was?
call him
The person.
sahur, like in Kashmiri, sahur is called sahar. We
Okay,
call him
Sahar, Sahar.
yeah.
so then this person will be Khan, Sahar Khan. So like
I had a bunch of Fajr Khans in madrasa where every morning they'd wake up with like a patila, right? Like this massive pot, and they take a metal spoon, urto, urto, pop, pop, and they're banging it. Like this is like 40 minutes before Fajr, and they're banging it, urto, urto, urto. Yeah, yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about,
I bet everyone loves Iftar Khan.
man.
they never used to be Niftar Khan. There was to be the Azan Khan.
Hasan Muazzin Khan. So, brother Sayyid, what about you? What are some expectations? Like, like for me, for example, Ramadan is, and I guess this is a whole different topic, but you know, Ramadans are really tough for me. I never get to spend the iftari time properly with my family. It's always like hit and run, hit and run, hit and run. My habit is, ever since I've been here, I do Maghrib maybe once a week at the house. I do iftari. Otherwise, 5 to 6 days a week, I'm at the masjid alone. And then, Taraweeh is a whole different thing. Like my kids will come and go, and I've never been around family for the Taraweeh experience. And I know it's not going to be the same experience. It's different being, I'm with my family all day. So now, it should be different, special, spending the rest of Ramadan with the rest of the family, with the rest of the community. But this year it's going to be different. I'll be there, right there with my kids, chugging along, not just chugging the water for iftar, but with everything, subhanallah. So yeah, brother Sayyid, what expectation do you have, or do you have something that you have set for your family this Ramadan, like what you want to see
Well,
for your family?
o- we do kind of the same things that Brother Fahad does. We have a box of lights that we need to open and put up along the. We have like a stairwell that we wrap lights around and then put them in the front window of our house. Yeah, so we like to put on decorations and honestly, some of the things that we want to accomplish, we already are doing since we're home. We're reading namaz and jamaat.
Yes,
Um,
yes, man, that's amazing.
yeah, yeah, and then in the nighttime, yeah, you're right. Probably by not attending iftar parties, we'll be able to focus more. on the religious part of it, because the Desi community, like you guys mentioned, they focus a lot on the food, on the breaking of the
No, it's even
fast
for
with.
non-desis. I don't think so. I mean, it's
Oh,
for
well,
everyone.
yeah, I don't think it's exclusive. You're right. But I mean, it's like they focus so much on the breaking of the fast. Like they Maghrib sometimes doesn't get prayed until like a solid like 20 minutes or half an hour after
Yeah.
the adhan. It's almost like an afterthought. You're supposed to read Maghrib like five or 10 minutes after you break your fast, and it's like 30 minutes later. It's like, oh hey, maybe we should read Maghrib.
That makes so much sense. Now that we are uh absolved of any iftar party, responding to any iftar parties, right? We should make it a point. So I have this now. Tell me if this sounds funny. I have the KISS principle. Do you know what the KISS rule is?
Yeah.
No,
Huh, brother Fahad? Do you know what the KISS rule is? KISS rule.
no.
KISS. I know it's
A casser
Ramadan and
like a
huh?
casserole or kiss roll?
No, KISS. KISS.
Okay, no, I don't.
So we should all establish the KISS principle with our families when it comes to iftar. My brother Fahad is thinking, what is this guy talking about? Right?
I'm assuming it's gonna be an abbreviation for KISS or something. I don't know.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple, sir. It works for sir, KISS. Keep it simple, sister. Keep it simple, sheikh. And originally, KIS stands for keep it simple, stupid.
No,
Right?
you know,
So, uh-huh.
no. I mean, just going back to that rule or principle. I mean, depends where your benchmark is. If like for me, if it's already up there, so
Yeah, no. So my whole thing is, I was discussing this with my wife. Okay, my kids, they aren't of fasting age, but they love iftar, right? They love the little samosas, and they don't eat much desi stuff, but they have these staple items for iftar. So I was discussing with my family that, listen, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna hear the adhan on the adhan clock, right? And alhamdulillah, my eldest, he's 10, and his name happens to be Bilal, so I'm trying to get him onto the azan game. So he's getting there right now. Right now it's like an iqama. So but it's gonna grow into an azan, right? So azan clock, then live azan. I said, let's have 3 khujur, water, get up and pray. That's it. Have the dastarkhan, have everything at the table if you want, right? But we should just eat our 3 dates, drink water, and go, and that's it. Or actually, okay, let me track back. So what I was suggesting is that we have a little masjid in our house now, right? Our living room. We pushed the furniture, got rid of the center table. No one's coming anytime soon. So I was saying, let's get like a little piece of plastic, and in the masjid, on the floor, on the janamas, let's do our kajur and water. And then stand up right there, pray, and then after sunnahs, we go to the dastarkhan. So hopefully we'll be able to implement that rule, inshallah, this year.
sure, sure.
Yeah. Before it was like, like Brother Sayyid was mentioning, like you were saying, there would be the fruit chaat and the halim and this and the pakoras, and like that once a week I would stay at home. Then my parents, for all these years, they joined us at the last 15, days. So alhamdulillah, I mean, it was nice, but yeah, you're right. I would pray Maghrib and pray Sunnah, and then I gotta just, change and get out of the house, in order. And I had the luxury of a designated spot, right? So, but I honestly, that was like once a week. I mostly would enjoy. I would take my little salad. There would be like maybe 10 people for Maghrib max, and then just sit from Maghrib till Isha and just do my thing. It
And I
would be really peaceful,
and I
really
think, I mean,
nice.
especially for the folks who have to lead the Taraweeh, I don't know, I mean, how mashallah you guys do it, because for sure, I mean, even if you have even a small piece of meal after iftar, it fills you up. And then when we overfill it,
Most, yeah, most Hufaz lead Taraweeh hungry.
Probably they'll have to.
100%. They have to. Mufti Nauman, hungry. He, he as soon as the Tarawih is over, they're hungry, right? It's long rosas, and they don't roll out of bed. He teaches the Sunday school and whatnot and everything. So most of the hufaz, yeah, they really they keep it light. They keep it light because their mind is their mind is hungry all day, right? And anyone, if you've had any experience with hifz, right? Even if you've visited a madrasa lunchtime, it's like everyone's just all the students are so hungry. Why? Because of that constant pressure on the brain. You know what I mean? And yeah, it builds up an appetite. Subhanallah, it really builds up an appetite. And then every hafiz, after they eat dinner at night, they're getting ready for the next day. They're trying to get a little revision before they go to sleep, right? And and for some hufaz, working hufaz, that's the main time. You know what I mean? It's really, they gotta work, they gotta do their regular job and lead tarawih and have that pressure, of but subhanallah, yeah, we are going to gain appreciation for a lot of things this Ramadan. And I think it's a lesson that had to be learned. It's just we don't understand the wisdom in right now that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has is choosing to teach us this way. Honestly speaking, I hope and pray that everyone in our community have established prayer in their homes, because of this, like established prayers. Like, I mean, what I mean by established prayers, like when it's like 2 o'clock, I'm bugging my family. Hey, let's go pray Zohar. Let's go pray Zohar. That's it. It's time for Zohar. Like that kind of bugging. And hopefully that extends to when we go out and travel, the 5 daily prayers. I don't even push my kids to pray sunnahs and stuff right now. I'm just like, what, just pray the sunnah right now. Just pray the farz right now. I'll take that. Then inshallah, slowly build up on it.
Yeah, true, true. And I think we've done from past few weeks since this whole thing started, we started doing at least Maghrib together.
Yes.
Because even I'm working at times. I mean, what would happen is they would be waiting for me and I wouldn't join them. So we kind of narrowed it down to say one Salah Maghrib. So we're trying to keep that. So maybe
Yeah,
inshallah
yeah,
in
yeah,
Ramadan we'll try to do more of that. But this,
yeah.
the food thing I wanted to. So 10 years back, we had a class. This is an Al Maghrib used to have this weekend class. They still
Uh-huh.
have it. So we had this one in Houston with Sheikh Yasser Birjas about
Hmm.
Prophet's Shamail.
Uh-huh.
So as a working workshop for that, it's a weekend seminar. So that one lunch, he said we're gonna have a basic lunch. So he brought like a rough bread with some olive oil and honey and cheese. And like we were 50, 60 of us, and we started having that. So we were done in like 15, 20 minutes. We were done with a loaf of bread and some cheese and honey. And then everyone was looking at each other. 15 minutes into it, everyone was found at a burger place after that.
Wow. Everyone missed the point.
Well, we knew, but we couldn't. Like, we had a long day of class after. We couldn't survive on just bread and olive oil.
Subhanallah. If anything, this teaches us about simplicity, right? Especially in the beginning when there was this huge mad dash for groceries and supplies and making sure at that time, it gave an opportunity for many people to realize what's important, what's not, what's essential, what's not. But I mean, when we look at the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the fact that, 1/3 of the stomach for food, 1/3 for air, 1/3 for water. I mean, these are, you fast forward 1,000 years later, and now science tells you, medicine tells you, oh, that, this is the way to go. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has stated in the hadith. And again, with my physique, I am in no position to beat the drums about this, but it's an ongoing struggle, just like spirituality. There's this constant struggle, right? There's also this tawbah process in losing weight as well, right? that, you know, you go far off the track, but then you make a U-turn, right? You put you lift your hands up, not in dua, but you take your hands up off the food, you know, and whenever it is, you can start your track back to losing weight. But subhanallah, the Prophet ﷺ said the worst vessel that can be filled, you know, you can fill many vessels, right? You can fill up a coffee tub right to the top, you can fill up your tub right to the top, anything that can be filled up, any vessel. The worst vessel to be filled up is the stomach. And that implies that Prophet ﷺ would always, not only did he encourage, but leave a little bit of hunger left. You know, leave yourself a little hungry. Don't satiate yourself, you know, fully. And so, you know, now is going to be the test, because you are right when you talk about iftari parties, right? That you go and you end up eating a little more and you're indulging. You know, it's good to eat someone else, especially for the family, right? To eat someone else's home cooking, someone else's handmade food. That's a whole different ballgame. Now, the test will lie, the burden of responsibility lies on every individual household to see how far they stretch their indulgence of iftar. You know, according to Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, he mentions a very heavy point. He said that to a person looking forward for iftar, right? Looking forward for iftar, it comes in the way of spiritual development. And having an extravagant iftar is more harmful to the development of the ruh than having lunch in the afternoon. So for example, right now on a daily basis, when we have lunch, right? If we're not fasting optional days, are we really dying for lunch? Are we anticipating lunch? Right? Are we excited about lunch every day?
Sure.
Like super. Are you as excited about lunch as you get excited about iftar?
Well, probably not that much, no.
Right? So the point that Imam Ghazali rahimahullah makes is that the purpose of experiencing that hunger, right? The experiencing of hunger is meant to break our nafs, right? It's meant to put our desire in check, right? You can have the desire. Your body can feel hungry in the afternoon, but you can't desire food, right? You can't desire food. Your body can be hungry, but you can't be like, oh, I wish it's makruh. It's makruh to watch Food Network in Ramadan for that reason, right? Because then you look at food and you'll be like, you know, all those Ramadan iftari cooking shows. And so why? Because it's going to increase, it's going to trigger that desire in you to eat, when the daytime in Ramadan is meant to be focused away from the desires. So now what happens is, when a person sits down for an elaborate iftar, okay, a person has appeased the nafs more than it appeased the nafs if you were just having a regular lunch. Why? Because the nafs is not super excited to eat lunch, because it's a part of the aada, right? You're used to eating lunch every afternoon. So it's like, okay, whatever. But in the iftar time, at that time when the body wants it the most, to appease the nafs at that time, it actually causes you to fall back a little bit. You follow me? Because you have fed the nafs. You have fulfilled your desire. So when you have 7 items for iftar, you're not fulfilling the need of iftar, are you?
Well,
At the end, now there's the aspect of being hospitable. There's an aspect of being sharing and caring and generous with your family. All of those aspects aside, we were talking about just simple living, right? So when we take the amount of time, like Brother Sayyid was saying, that sometimes it gets delayed 20 minutes, right? Maghrib gets delayed 20 minutes. And then also having all that extra iftar is really going to weigh you down. And not being in the presence of other musalliyin for Isha and Taraweeh, you know when everyone gets up, it makes you get up, right? And like, even when you want that little break, sometimes after 4 rak'ah, there's the dua you want to read, and then the imam just gets up, and then, okay, you gotta hustle, you gotta get up, you gotta get up. Right now there's nothing and no one telling you to get up. So if you're gonna have that chart and that day butter and that halim and that this and that and like all of these, like, things, all of this mixture of iftari ingredients that's like going around in your stomach, that's definitely going to weigh you down. you know it's definitely going to weigh you down. It's definitely going to make you lazy. It's going to put you in that situation where, you know what, man, let's do 8 tonight. Which is fine, which is totally fine, but you don't want to have to base that decision
based on the
over
movie.
on your level of energy,
Sure.
right? Your level of energy. So yeah, Assalamu alaikum, brother Nick. Brother Omar also popped in and popped out for us. I hope you and your family are in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's protection. We were talking about Ramadan goals. Brother Fahad and Brother Sayyid both, alhamdulillah, expressed that, the aspect of establishing prayer with family in Jama'ah is something that is that they like seeing in their house, and they're going to continue establishing in our house. We also talked about taking advantage of the fact that we don't have to respond to any iftar dawats, and this Ramadan will be, a good time to spend in solitude with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a family unit, right? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, right? May Allah send his blessings on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and on the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just like Ibrahim alaihi salam and the family of Ibrahim alaihi salam. So deen, right, is a family affair. It's a family issue. When Ibrahim alayhi salam was building the Kaaba, when he made the dua, Rabbana taqabbal minna, right? When we go to the Kaaba, when we are standing in front of the Kaaba, who's the first person that we ask for?
Allah.
If you were standing in front of the Kaaba, who's the first person you're gonna make dua for?
Allah Ta'ala.
No, four. Who for?
Or
Yourself, probably.
For yourself, right? Allah.
yeah.
The first thing you make dua for is, oh Allah, forgive me, right? Oh Allah, pardon me. Oh Allah, have mercy on me. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bless me. But Ibrahim alayhi salam said, Rabbana taqabbal minna. Oh Allah, accept from all of us. Him and his family, his unit, his dhurriya, all of this was one when he was addressing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? It was about him, it was about his family. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم ربنا وجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذريتنا. Oh Allah, make both of us. So the son was never left out of the picture in his dua. The dhurriya, he didn't include just his kids. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he included his bloodline, right? So that's how important the aspect of family is. If we can only learn how to love the extended ummah and family if we have learned how to love our own. That's why in every khutbah, right? Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsani wa ita'i dhil qurba. Allah has commanded us to be just, to be fair, wal ihsan, and to be dutiful and righteous towards each other, wa ita'i dhil qurba, and to give to those who are our close ones. What happens when you give? Now, whether it's giving, what does it mean? Whether it's your financial help, whether it's giving your time, giving your love, sharing your thoughts. When in order to develop an empathy for the ummah, it starts by developing a connection and empathy for your family. That's where it starts.
Imam Bashir, I mean, that brings
Yes.
me to the point. I mean, again, I think we might be on the top for hour here, but maybe for you've already covered or you may plan to cover later on. I think one thing, the biggest challenge in this Ramadan would be that all of the family would be together, basically.
Mhm.
So that means you are interacting a lot more.
Yes.
That means having a control on your anger, emotions, and everything. I mean, that I think would be for myself, for example. I mean, that
Yeah.
would be something where we need to protect our fast, that we don't lose the ajr by. So I don't know if you have any tips or you plan to cover it in some lecture or something, but just wanted to bring that up. That's what.
The fasting, so fasting, when we talk about fasting, there are the levels of fasting, right? So one of the levels of fasting is the fasting of the organs, and in the fasting of the organs also comes the fasting of the tongue, the fasting of the thoughts. And you picked up on a very important topic, that hunger adds to the frustration, especially if you're not used to it, right? And we can see how people react to situations of desperation differently. So yes, fasting is something that it's very important to also uh, 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 discipline. That's the word. Just like we discipline our habits of eating and drinking in Ramadan, there are many other habits that should be disciplined as well, and there should be a mutual understanding, with these things. It's easy for me to tell you that or to expect from you to be calm, to be cool, to be to have a cool temperament in the month of Ramadan. But when we talk about temperament, the main encouragement goes to oneself. I should be talking to me. You should be telling you. Sayyid should be telling Sayyid in the mirror that, hey, I need to keep my calm this Ramadan. We should have some type of uh, uh, understanding established within our family, or some type of code language. Like, for example, if you think things are about to get out of hand, there should be this understanding in the family that when someone gives the code word, go do wudu, that argument or whatever it is needs to stop right then and there, and everyone needs to disperse and go do wudu, and then approach the situation if it needs to be approached. If it is that time sensitive, there should definitely be no arguments or anything over food. And a lot of misunderstandings, they root from the intention, right? What is the intention behind something? Let's say, for example, if someone wants to do something nice for iftar, and on the other side, no, we want to keep it simple, we want to keep it simple, we want to keep it simple. Well, understand the fact that when this is just one example that just came off the top of my head, that if someone does want to do something nice for the family for iftar, we need to understand the reasoning and the motivation behind that. We shouldn't view it in the lens that, oh, this is gonna come in between me and Maghrib. This is gonna come in between me and my ibadah. No, someone on the other end wants to do that as a display of ibadah, that they're cooking for their family. They want their family وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ, right? And the let it be known, rejoice the blessing of your Lord. How are you going to rejoice and display the blessing of your Lord that's full in the fridge without having it on the table and eating it? So I mean, if we need to work with each other, understand each other's intentions and niyas and stuff. uh, 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 and again, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "As-sabru inda sadmatil ula," right? Sabr, patience, matters when the situation hits first, not, oh, I'm sorry later. Right? So it's about being a sabir early instead of a sorry later, right? So Ramadan, it's a whole package. The whole course of the month of Ramadan is meant for the disciplining of the eyes, the disciplining of the ears, the mouth, the thoughts, seclusion. Imagine the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam being in a tent in the masjid in the month of Ramadan, like not only in the masjid but in a tent, right? If the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told everyone, no, don't bug me, everyone would have people would have kept their distance. But now he's sitting in a tent, not just as a reminder for others or as an indication to others, but also to create this atmosphere and vibe for himself, right? And as an education for us that this is what it requires. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us this Ramadan. You know, next, we won't be having Morning Joe next week, subhanallah. The month, you see this little thing right here? I flipped this over here, and the month of April went by so quick, unimaginable how we would have plowed through the month of April so quick. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us in his safety and protection. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to hit the month of Ramadan forgiven, right? So if we start Ramadan forgiven, it's all build up from there.
Inshallah.
All right, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Nick. How are you?
Good. I have something to share with Morning with
Yes.
Joe, if you allow me 60 seconds.
Go ahead.
All right. We do this at work also. So I am sharing. Do you see my screen?
I see your face.
Oh, you see my face. Okay. Done. How about now?
Yes, you have barbecue.
Okay. So, all right. I need to move. Okay, it's not moving. It will move now. So let's do it differently. So we did a great barbecue. I want to share some of the pictures.
It's a good thing you're showing this now and not next week.
Absolutely. That's what the intention was. Okay, Ma'am, I think I should have been on my laptop, but with the phone, I can share only these. But it was a good event. I wanted to have a little clip, but I think I need to learn more how we can make it happen.
I hope you ate our share as well.
Brother, this is not helping social distancing. You know, now I'm going to want to come to your house to have your food.
Yeah, Mansoor, anytime.
Drive by.
I'll just drive by your house and you just throw it at me.
Inshallah.
All right, inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam. Allah Hafiz.